tired of picking up the same old decorative art for your home? Then how about a bit of functional art? Come along with me as I show you things that are reasonable and completely functional. Follow the artistic trail into the Forum Art Gallery and you'll see how durability and artistry can work together. On display are pieces of work created by Chennai's well-known artists who have used commonly used material like granite, paper mache, waste metal, yarn and even seashells to create bookends, key holders, candle stands, wine holders, lampshades even.
I curated the show. It's purely to do with functional art. I actually invited mainstream artists to submit works which we actually can use as an object in everyday life. So it's quite a challenge because for a sculptor it's very easy to convert your works and to something that you can use. For instance, if you look at this stainless steel cow, you can really use him as a coat stand and other things. And apart from a piece of display, So, and also some of the artists who actually are painting on wood, then again it becomes very easy for them to convert their works, into a table per se. And if a sculptor is, working on stone, then, he can convert his sculptures to, a lamp or, So it's quite versatile. It needs a lot of thinking, and not all artists are comfortable with that. And but the few who are and have submitted works for this particular show have had a lot of fun, because seeing their work being used in a different way, gives it an added dimension.
The result of the collective efforts is a small yet creative collection. The demand to own a piece of A.V. Ilango's granite ashtray or a Benita Percia's half moon is high, what with prices being so low. Also on display was Lakshman L.A.'s drawing of Telangana faces on a lampshade made completely from yarn. And reclining against granite blocks is Dimpy Menon's distinctive bronze figurine bookends, which create the perfect mood for reading a book.
When I curated the show, I told the artists, I said, look, we cannot have this pricing the same as, like, say, your sculpture would fetch. So, which means you're actually getting the works at half the price. And not because it's not, the value is not as much, but because the focus is on function. And, so use materials, maybe downstream your materials, whatever, but make sure that it's affordable. Like for instance, a sculpture by a mainstream artist would be, like about 1.5 to 2 lakhs. But then this particular artist who has contributed here has given it to us at half the price, because he's used various other elements into it, and he's kept his costing down. At the same time, we want it to move as well.
These pieces of work also make for great gifting ideas. So how about pick up a couple of copper bowls, trays and chunky pendants with folk art etchings created by S. Himalata, S. Sarvanan and M.S. Geeta. Now if you like humor with your mug of coffee, then how about a piece from artist Biswajit's collection? The very mention of the word history, and all of us think of those boring old days in school when we used to doze off. Well, if history comes alive in the form of a book, then trust me, it's going to be a whole lot interesting. I'm here at Landmark for the launch of the next book by Alex Rutherford, and it's going to be one live session of a history class. English couple Diana and Michael Preston, who go by the pen name of Alex Rutherford, brought their second in a quintet of the Empire of the Mughal series to India over the weekend. Their mutual love for everything Indian set the tone for this history-based book. Spending almost 6 years in research, this is an epic saga.
Well,
goes back really to our love of India. It was the first place we went to after we got married. We've probably spent over a year of our married lives here, and in the end that led us to write a book about the history of the Taj Mahal. That took us to the Mughals, to starting to read the chronicles, to going back in time. And we decided as a result of that we wanted to write a quintet of novels about the history of the Mughals, starting with the first Babur, ending with Shah Jahan. And to do that, we invented a pseudonym for ourselves of Alex Rutherford.
I'm sure this is a very curious question. All our viewers want to know is, for one writer to write a book, it's quite a task. But how is it for two writers to write a book?
Well, perhaps I'll answer that by saying we've been married a very long time. We know each other very well.
Marriage is holding it together.
Marriage is perhaps holding our marriage together. We've collaborated on all our books.
Brothers at War picks up where raiders from the north left in the first book. Humayun, the newly crowned Mughal emperor, faces the toughest challenge yet of saving his life and the Mughal Empire from destruction. Alex Rutherford blends historical facts and discoveries into a narrative that's easy to read.
It's nice that people are writing about Indian history because it makes it more interesting, brings the history alive. But I wish they had chosen something other than the Mughals, because I think there's a lot of stuff on the Mughals already, but we don't have a lot on South Indian history. There's so many more interesting characters that they could have chosen, but I guess this is an easier subject given that there's so much to write about the Mughals.
Do you think it's better to read about history, or you think it's better to study history?
Read, definitely. Studying long time ago. So right now it's just reading.
Chennai's literati were treated to a history lesson as Diana and Michael shared their knowledge and research of the Mughal period, from Akbar's true looks to horses dressed up to resemble elephants, and even the odd question or two about whether they watched Hindi films. Overall, this was a history class that was worth attending. With that, it's an end for today's episode of Shift Focus. Now, while I go chill out, it's time for y'all to get to your computers and send in your feedback. If you enjoyed today's show or you'd like to be part of Shift Focus and let it grow, then remember you've got to email us on feedback@ndtv-hindu.com. Until next week, this is Dipti Kumar saying goodbye and be good.